something. Okay, so master data. When we talk about master data, it is more about what data that is important to a client, their customer information. If you are dealing with products, those product information, and their sales representatives. So some of those data that come under master data. So there's a big difference between master data and big data. So when you come to big data you deal everything. So you deal the data that is in the logs, you deal every transactional information, everything you deal with. But in master data, we only deal with high value information. Talk about MDM, master data management. It is how do you maintain that master information? Like how do you so when you get information from different sources, it could be the same customer. So how do you maintain that? How do you analyze that information, and how we collate that information together and perform make that information useful for the client, so that solutions or those rules that we write, though, that is called master data management. So whatever we do on top of the data which we receive from different sources, that's called master data management.
Okay.
So when it comes to IBM MDM, okay, mainly it has two types. One is virtual hub, and the other one is physical hub. Okay, and you are interested in virtual hub, so I concentrate more on that. Okay, so basically this master data in master data management, what we do is we take information from different sources and try to provide single view of that master data. It's called in some words it is called the master record. Some places it's called golden record, and some places we call it as 360-degree view of the customer. So you do all that. So in IBM MDM, InfoSphere MDM, we have especially two different styles of MDM. One is virtual, which is referential style. So the physical style, which is a transactional style. So when it comes to physical, it is like you collect all the information from different sources, and in physical you maintain the source information in physical as one single record. Suppose you're getting a record from two different sources. So what it does is it will take the information from both the sources and collate that information and make it one golden record. So here you will also store other information like the accounts they hold, some more of this transaction information, because there in physical your MDM is the central source. So you treat your MDM as a central source. Okay. But when it comes to virtual is not your central source. You might already have some other your existing sources like a data warehouse, or you can have your existing traditional your you know traditional MDMs, sorry, traditional databases, which are already established, and you don't want to disturb that, but you want to use the MDM functionality of linking those different customers to one customer. So that is where a referential style comes into picture. So in virtual, what we do is we take only the record information that is required to do the matching and merging purpose. Okay, MDM, the heart of MDM is match and merge. Okay, so in virtual referential style, we only take that much of information from your existing databases, existing data warehouses. You store each source record, and then you will do matching and merging, and then you provide the linkages. So these two records are of the same customer, these three records are of the same customer. So you do that matching and you give it to your customer. So that is called as virtual style, or it is also called as the referential style. The hybrid will be a combination of physical and virtual. Okay, you collect
Okay.
information from different sources, you store it, and from both and you use a combination of both physical and virtual together. Okay, so IBM MDM by default supports supports many domains. So So as soon as you install and then you are trying to set up, it will give you some predefined model according to the domain that you are using. So there will be something healthcare. If you are using a healthcare insurance domain, so there will be some tables specific to the insurance. 4 tables will be the same. And on top of it, there will be some changes, some additional tables. If you're dealing with banking domain, it will give you like tables to store the bank information, okay, account information. So some fields related to the banking domain. Then if you're dealing with a retail domain, it will give you related to the retail domain, or when you need a patient domain, so it will give you patient domain specific tables. Clear? Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. When I'm running out, you can stop me.
Yeah.
So these styles of MDM. Same MDM.
Okay.
Same MDM. You have just the styles of implementation. So registry style, which is the virtual MDM, wherein you maintain all the only the reference information. So why they call reference is that you just read from an existing warehouse source, a warehouse or your existing traditional databases, and you just take that required information. That's why it is called as a referential, or it is also called as registry style. Centralized hub, because you maintain one golden record, and your MDM is your central source. So you treat your MDM as your core source. That is, it's called as centralized. Coexistence is nothing but hybrid. Consolidated style, not exactly MDM, but it's just that you are consolidating all the information that you get from different sources and storing it at one place. It could be your data warehouse, or any other data lake, or any other existing database systems. That will be your consolidated style. So yeah, consolidation is like you consolidate from different sources, okay, and then you share your system, so your consolidated master data to the target systems. You can see here the consolidated master data for analytics and data warehouse environment. So it is more of just consolidating the existing information. Registry using you are maintaining limited data required for matching and searching purpose. See here, only store in limited data, and you store the sources information. When we say source information, like this record I got from source one, this record I got from source two. So any day if I see, I can identify that this record is from source one, this record is from source two, because we put that we maintain that source linkages, and we only keep the limited data that is required for data matching and searching. So when we say limited data, there is another name for the same. It is called as critical data elements in MDM terms. In IBM MDM terms, critical data elements. So critical data elements are those which are used for matching and searching purpose. So that is the elements that we identify, which are the critical data elements on which you can do the matching and merging, and then the you start we only fetch that information for the registry style. Now here, the centralized style. The centralized style is where MDM becomes your master record. So you get information from different sources. You consolidate that information and put it into one master record. So MDM will be a central repository. So that one record, you can say that, okay, this particular record is coming from so and so sources. Okay, but you won't have multiple records. Say record one is from source one, record two is from source one. So we cannot do that. It will be only one record, and you can say that this record is from Using that info, you just have the linkages to the sources. Okay, this record is available in source 1, is available in source 2, but your master record will only be one at any given point of time. So it will share the information from all the sources, whether it is consolidated into one single version. Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Then Indian implementations. There's some other information. Okay. No. When it comes to software MDM at an enterprise, so this is how it looks. So in MDM, we can in software MDM we can integrate with all these sources. So you see here, you will have you can have real-time connectivity. You will have near real-time, and also you will have batch processes. So real-time could be your UI, okay, your phone banking, your call centers, so other vendor third-party APIs, right? So whichever UIs which directly interact with the MDM, okay. So those will be your real-time processes. So which needs data on a real time, which will read the data and write the data to your MDM sources. Those are all real time. So we call near real time. Near real time will be like you getting data using queues. Okay. It is near real time. So when you get data through some MQs or Kafka queues. So that is not real time because you will read the real time will need immediate response. So once suppose you log into a UI and you're trying to into your bank account, you log in and then you want to see the information, that will be a real time. So you have to, as soon as you log in, you have to see your information. Okay, that is real time. But there are some systems like you will ask for a you will say, okay, please update my what is called please update my address on my bank account. So you put a service request. So those kind of service requests they are put into a queue process. So they'll as soon as you submit that request, it won't reflect in your banking account immediately. It will say we'll update in the next 8 hours or next 10 hours, something like that. So what it will do, they will insert into a queue. Okay, and that queue gets processed for that request. So it is so here also it is called near real time because there is a delay, but it is not much. It will be like if real time is you need a response in 10 milliseconds or 100 milliseconds. Okay, your real time will take a little bit more time. Like it will give a response after 1 minute or 2 minutes. You don't wait on the UI, you just submit the request and you go back. At the backend, they will read from the queue and update onto the MDM. So that is called near real time. And then when you come to, there are other sources like, you update your SSN details or sometimes, even your address, right? That needs to be verified. So, and also your, say you take a credit card. So when your information won't reflect on the same day. So there are some sources which will provide information at the end of the day. During the day, those sources, your MDM, those sources won't interact with your MDM throughout the day. Okay. So there are some sources wherein that source will have their own databases. They will have like your a warehouse or a data mart. Okay. So there, what they do is they interact with the customers with their own separate UIs, and they keep that information. And at the end of the day, they do a batch load, like your nightly batches that run sometimes. So those are all not real time or near real time. Those are all batch loads. That means at the end of the day, today, if your batch is running, they'll run their operations and the sales representatives they do some sales, right? So they will be they sold 10 loans, 5 credit cards. If they don't keep updating all the information at one time, there could be some field officers who will go to the clients, talk to them, and then so they will come back and do the entry, and that will be synced to the MDM at a particular time in the day. Okay. It could be night at 10 p.m. The batch runs, or 12 p.m. batch runs. When usually these batches are scheduled at a time when the customers are not, the server is not that busy. During the morning times, the customers are awake, and there are multiple sources which will be interacting with MDM on a real time basis. So at that time, these batches won't run. So your batch load is usually scheduled at times like midnight, 12 o'clock, midnight, 1 o'clock, wherein the traffic on the MDM is not that much, the load is not that much, and your batch process executes properly. So there are like some sources which will send data during a specific time. So those batch batch loads. That's how your MDM interacts with the services. When it comes to virtual, your MDM virtual module, these are the ones that you will be seeing. Okay. The data stewardship UI. It is the UI that helps us to integrate, connect with the MDM systems. So we also call it as inspector UI. Okay, so the inspector UI will help us interact with the MDM engine. Whatever MDM setup we have, we have some actions that can be done using the UI. Like there are some tasks that are created. The data stewards want to resolve those tasks. So there's some updates they want to make. So they will log into this UI and we can make that updates. So this is something which is out of the box provided by MDM to the customers. On top of it, it's up to us whether we want to use this existing data stewardship UI or you want to create your own UI. MDM is not stopping it, but just that by default with the product also you get a UI, okay, which has some functionalities. These are not variety of functionalities. There will be some limitations. Okay. You don't have you cannot modify the UI. You cannot customize it much. So, yeah, with minimum customizations, the UI is provided, which you can use to start off with if you want to. Okay, and virtual module supports multiple domains. Like you have a person domain, you can have an organization domain, you can have a product domain, you can have patient domain. So it supports different domains. Then only I would say difference in terms of domains between virtual and physical is that there is no link between the domains. So you cannot have a cross domain linkage. Whereas in physical MDM you can have a cross domain linkage. Okay. So
Okay.
that's one difference, major difference when it comes to domains between virtual and physical.
Okay.
Now the heart of the MDM, which is your master data engine, wherein you have your match and linking happening. You have your relationships. Your relationships that are being built. Then you have your algorithms that do this matching and linking, and then some other composite services that are there. Okay, so all that, and also your workbench also comes under the master data engine. So that is the core of your MDM, where you do all the functionality, all your processing that is done in the master data engine. Okay. And
Okay.
your data model is out of the box. You get a define a data model by MDM. So that we use, so that data model structure, everything is available. Okay. Then yeah, the solution framework is just your certain components that we use, like MDM services existing virtual. For virtual, you have some API transactions that are available. So all that comes under the solution framework. So what when you want to add a new customer, you call particular API transaction. So once you call the transaction internally, that will do all that processing. So that comes into the solution framework. Then there are some configuration and configurations that we can do on your MDM. You have your workbench configuration, then you have some tuning or some transformations and mapping that you do. All that is comes under your configuration management. Yeah, application integration. So you can integrate with so MDM, the APIs that are available in MDM, they can be exposed as web services to the integration layer. So there is a RAD application toolkit, so that will help us integrate with your web services. Um, so provide your web services so that it can be integrated with your existing any other APIs. External sources that want to interact. So these web services are exposed to those external services, which can use these web services to call the physical model. Physical module is similar. If you see, you have multiple domains, and here the difference is cross-domain relationship. So you can have link. So you have a party domain, you can have a product domain, you can have an account domain, and then you can link between them. So this party has this product, this party uses this account. So that kind of a linkage happens here in physical module, but it's not possible in virtual module. And then you have existing out of the box business services. There are some services that are provided by MDM or to interact with the master data. So these services can be customizable. You can do a lot of customizations on the physical services. You can write your own custom services. You can use the existing services and then modify and reuse them and add your own modifications to it. Your own extensions you can do. So all that is possible on the physical model. Okay. Then seeing you have the data stewardship, and there is also governance UI on this one. And BPM, yeah, you have both on physical and also virtual BPM linkage. So this BPM is a separate module that is available along with the InfoSphere module, which will help some of these workflows, business process management workflows actually. Then you here also you have the master data engine where your matching and linking happens. You have your existing these frameworks uh, are your what is called the Java frameworks that are under which will help us write the services. Okay, and there's a lot of customization that you can do. So advanced MDM toolings, you can do customizations to the data models. Even in virtual, you can do the custom data models, but it is not as extensive as your physical. So one other difference in the data model extension, customizing the data model is that in, in virtual, in virtual, you can add any new table and you can remove them. Sorry, you can add any new table and remove that whenever you want. But you cannot modify the existing tables. You cannot add an additional column to the existing tables. You cannot modify that. Here in physical, you can add additional columns to your existing tables, like an address table. You have say some fields like address line 1, address line 2, state, country code, but you are trying to keep a nearby location, which is not there in the MDM. So that additional column you want to have. So here in physical, it is possible. You can just have a data extension, just Existing table, you can customize an additional column. When it comes to virtual, you cannot do that. So if you want to add an additional column, then you have to create the address table completely, custom address table, and add those additional columns. Okay. You can also have custom domain creation over here. You can create your own domain, and also there is extensive integration that is available with the third party servers. The performance, yes, there is some performance and robustness. There's hyper performance when it comes to physical MDM, because that will be your central source. When you go for a physical MDM, it will be your central source. So there will be a lot of performance, well performance. MDM. So first unit. Do you want to continue or do you want me to stop here? It will be the
Yeah.
architecture.